If you are a witness to a crime, you may be called to testify in court, because the word of someone who sees something firsthand carries weight. It matters because you have a firsthand account. You have your own story to tell of what you saw. When it comes to seeing God work in your life, a very encouraging thing might be that it is not your story. It's God's story. You simply have the privilege of seeing it firsthand and then the privilege of telling about it. So it's not about you, it's about God. And that should be very encouraging. To that end, we want your testimonies. We want to know the things that you have witnessed firsthand, where you can point to it and say, that was God. God did that. I know God did that because it couldn't have been done otherwise. They can be big things like your salvation experience. Some people have tremendous salvation stories. They can be small things like, an example, I used to wear sandals 15 years ago when my wife was pregnant with our second son. I never fastened my sandals. From the time that I purchased them till I threw them away, I didn't fasten them, except for one time. We were coming out of our apartment and I sat down on the top step to fasten my sandals. And my wife actually turned and said, "What are you doing?" "Fastening my sandals." So I fastened my sandals, we carry on. It takes like 10 seconds. We get in the car, we drive away. And as we're driving along, we're behind a car that's roughly 10 seconds ahead of us. That car comes to an intersection, it goes through, and an SUV comes from the other direction, blows the stop sign, and plows into the front end of that car. The SUV spirals like a football and lands on its hood yards away, skidding to a stop. We put the car in park, we both jump out of our car. My wife goes to the woman who got out of the car in front of us. I go to the woman who was in the SUV. The woman in the car ahead of us naturally was very upset. She gets out and she's screaming and hollering and in hysterics, understandably so. My wife, in an effort to calm her down, wraps her arms around her and sits down in the grass on the side of the road, forcing her to sit down with her. After a few minutes, the woman actually calms down, which is a good thing. I'm over here at the SUV with the woman who's still strapped in, and she has her eyes closed. She's afraid she has glass in her eye, so she didn't want me to move her, which again, I understand, so we didn't. We waited for the rescue team to arrive. They came, they took care of them, and we carried on about our day. Why on earth did I fasten my sandals? Could be because that car 10 seconds ahead of us might have been us, and we might have been the ones hit, with my pregnant wife and my 4-year-old son in the back. Could be because that situation, God wanted to have somebody there who would help calm this person down and help comfort this person who was afraid. I don't know why, but I am convinced that it was God's will that I sat down and fastened my sandals when I never do that. It is not something that I ever did. It took 10 seconds. 10 seconds difference. I believe that was God at work in my life. I believe that was God at work in my life, my wife's life, my son's life, my unborn son's life, and both of those women. I believe that. That's one of my testimonies. It's not my story, it's God's story. God did it. And to Him be all glory, praise, and honor forever and ever. We need to share these stories because these stories increase faith. I encourage you to come to our worship event, Testify, on September 29th at 7 p.m. It's a Saturday night. Come. Share your story. If you don't want to share your story, just come to hear stories, to be uplifted. If you have a story to share, then share your story. There is a registration form that we ask all of our speakers to fill out on the website just to help the flow of the service. But come, share your stories, hear stories, be strengthened, be uplifted. There will be music, there will be testimonies. It's going to be a good time. Come.